Hello everyone, I hope you're having a fantastic day. I'm not really sure where to start. I have thought about this subject for a long time. Um, I didn't want to say anything, but now I believe there is no reason not to, really. I hope that I could get a positive resolution out of this. So might as well start from the beginning. I started streaming back in 2015, on April to be more exact, of 2015. I first got to know Brawlhalla because of the NLSS, the Northern Lion Live Super Show. He was playing with his friends, and they were having a lot of fun. And I saw that the game was free to play, and I signed up for the website. At that time, the game was in closed beta, and I waited like 2 weeks. I I then got the game. I started playing a lot of free for all, the casual game mode, and I saw that, and I experienced a lot of fun. I was having the time of my life. I probably played like 20 hours that week, and I realized that I was winning lots and lots of games. And then I thought to myself, why don't I just go and play ranked? That is a game mode that I haven't tried out. So I did that, and I started winning lots of games. I started to climb up through the ranks. I started team, then I went to bronze, then I went to silver, then gold, and then at that time started started like searching like more content about Brawlhalla, and I came across the guides of Raven, you know, the YouTuber and also the streamer, now a developer for the game, and it was really helpful at the time. It was super helpful to be able to just see and hear and experience through his gameplay, like what the game had to offer. It was really helpful. Then I watched his stream. Um, he always promoted his stream on his YouTube channel, so I went to his stream, and he was like the first streamer that I watched consistently. I remember that the first day that I got there, I started to interact in chat with everybody who was there. There was just key members that they have been here in the community since this day. Magmavov, like Sir Pots and Pants, I remember he was there. And there were a bunch of other. Like Raiden always had the best, like he the best viewership. Like everybody would love to go to his stream because he was the guy who got a lot of the guides in the game, like the tutorials and all the ways of how to play, and all the focus point of the competitive scene was pretty much, I believe, in his stream at that time. Back there, the community was really small, like probably like 300 people were just playing the game every day, and everybody knew each other at that time. You didn't. It didn't take a long time to meet like everybody. It was really small community. Uh, it was also back there, like back in close beta. So that was the starting point. And then I thought to myself, why don't I just start doing my stream in Brawlhalla? Why don't I try streaming? And I did. I started streaming in Brawlhalla. But back then, I was streaming in Spanish because that is my first language. If you don't know, I I quickly realized that it was not the best thing to do if you wanted to grow your channel, because the South America community was just not there, you know. I got like probably like 3 people there, which when you're starting, like it's pretty understandable because you are not well known. People don't know your schedule. People don't know you as a player, your voice. They don't know your face in some cases. Like people are not really that familiar with you when you're just starting. And um, and I started seeing that were a lot of people from the stream of Raiden that were stopping by my stream, and they were having good things to say. And I always knew English since high school, so like the only problem that I had was speaking English. Now I'm become much better at it. I still have problems. I sometimes stump in my words. The only time that I speak English is when I make videos or when I stream in Brawlhalla. So I can speak Spanish more like faster and in a much more eloquent way, you know. But that is another subject. So I was having like great reception with my stream. I remember that at that time I had like 10 to 20 views. It was really something. Like for me, having people that were willing to watch me and interact with me and talk to me and experience the gameplay with me, ask me for tips, and then to come by at some other point and they say to me, hey Milo, you know, your stream really helped me, or your videos really helped me to improve in the game now. I climbed up to platinum and I was just stuck in gold. Thank you so much. Or man, you were the reason why I started playing Nash, because you were really, really talented and you teach me a lot of things. Like people said that stuff to me, like for being me, like just a guy who all his life has been pretty much um, like in the middle of the classroom, in the middle row, just trying to not like draw too much attention, um, having my people to care about what I have to say and what I have to offer as entertainment, like it really was something that I have never experienced in my life, and I became addicted to it in some way. Like streaming was really something that relaxed me in ways that I can't really describe. It's just something that I believe if you haven't tried out, please experience streaming for a period of a few months. Like it's a really rewarding experience to have people like uh, being with you and experiencing something with you when you play. But then again, that is another subject. I don't know how much this video is going to last. Probably it's going to last a lot because I have so many things to say. And if you want to stick around, that is going to be great. Um, because I have so many subjects to tackle on, and there's not really a good way to summarize all of this. So I'm just going to try to say it as genuinely as possible. I don't think this is going to be too edited. Like I'm going to just through all of this in in one go. I'm just going to record everything just one sitting. So this is my honest reaction and my honest thoughts about the subjects that I'm going to talk about. That I believe I already touched a little bit of this, but the viewership, like I had in close beta like probably 20 views, like tops. And then it came by on November, I believe, the open beta, and my viewership was going up like from the thousands of people that were playing the game as an increase of the open beta and being more like having more like exposure from being on the top games on the free to play um, tab on the Steam, like that really helped to my viewership in some ways and for everybody, you know. The I started getting like 10 more views, like 30 on average. Sometimes I would get 40, sometimes I would get like 20, sometimes I would get 15. But for a long time, like it really hovered like around the area of just like 30 views, and that was for like a few months. And now at the start of the year, like I've been having much more viewership since I started being more consistent and more regular with my content, and having a established um, schedule like really helped me. I was starting to get like now my actual stat is like 40 on average, probably. Sometimes I would get more, and now the previous 3 weeks, like the last 3 weeks, I started to realize that my viewership would go up way more if I put in my title like CC code giveaway or raffle or some kind of stuff like that, like probably clickbaity, and I would get like 50 to 100% increase in my viewership. I would get like 60 views. Sometimes I would get like 70, and that has been the extent of it. As of like a player, a content creator, a streamer that has been playing Brawlhalla for more than a year and a half, that would be like the most views that I would get. And then in just in the all that time that I was streaming, occasionally I also like did some YouTube videos. Really not that thrilled about all that. Like for some reason, I enjoy much more streaming. Just having to edit the video, record the video, then put like audio on the video, then having to edit the video, then having to render the video, then have to upload the video, and then having to watch it. And how it uploads, and then having a schedule going on for that, and really being a slow process. I was not really that thrilled about it because I was not getting the views. I was not getting too much feedback on that. That's probably my problem. And I was having to try. I didn't want to try out too many things to see how I could improve. So I just give up, and I started doing back what I did best and people enjoy the most, and it was streaming. So I went back there, and I've been consistent. I stream Brawlhalla, I believe, at the start of the year, like 6 hours a day for 5 days a week. Then I started streaming 5 hours for 5 days a week, and then I went down to 4 hours to 5 days a week. And now, these past few months, this has been only like 3 hours a day, and for 3 days a week, or 3 days or 4 days a week, like I've been going down and down on my streaming time, not because I don't have the time. I do have the time. I know how to manage college. I know how to manage my eating, my responsibilities as being like someone who lives in an apartment with his brother and has to do all the shopping and has to like sometimes do projects and go to college and all that. I know how to manage my time. I refuse when people say that you don't have time to do stuff. Like everybody has so much time. At least where I live, everybody has so much time, but they all like really brag about it and say that they're busy. That I refuse to believe that, but that's another subject. I do real a lot of when I speak in just one go. I'm starting to realizing, and I believe that the biggest part of my downtime on streaming has been the lack of enjoyment that I've been getting on the game. You need to realize that I've been playing Brawlhalla for 1600 hours at this point. 6 hours a day for like a month. That is just way too much. That is just way too much for anybody. For streaming in general, if you want to have like more exposure and have more follows and more viewership, you need to stream for a long time. Having to stream just for like an hour sometimes does not cut it for most people, at least. But it drains so much your energy to stream for such a long time. It's really deteriorating. I would not advise it to anybody. 3 hours, I believe, is just a healthy amount of time to stream. But my downtime in streaming was not just because I was tired. It was probably because I have not just enjoying the game lately, and my performance in the game itself has been down because of it, I believe. Which brings me to the next subject. I have so many things to talk about here. Probably this is going to be like 30 40-minute video or podcast at this point. I don't know. I And last week there was the VCS regional Brazilian regional qualifiers, which is basically like a tournament. If you win, like you get a chance to go to BCX at the in November, and you get the chance to like play and get like a lot of money out of that. That is the initiative of EMG to build up more the esport scene. And I mean, I have never been really like a competitive player for the longest time. On my stream, I told everyone, welcome to the fun side of the Brawlhalla community. That was my slogan. That was the thing that I said to new people on my stream. Welcome to the fun side of the Brawlhalla community. I have never been a competitive player. I don't play games for just win. I play games to have fun. That is how I work. If I don't have fun, I usually don't play games. And my problem here that I've been just sticking around in the community for a long time, and I believe that I'm interacting way less like by day, with everyone. I play games because I have fun, and I am just not been feeling it. I'm just not been feeling fun in Brawlhalla like anymore. Like it's, and I have a few things to say about that, but you got to also understand that I've been playing the game for 1600 hours up until this point. And I believe that I've been playing just Brawlhalla like because I feel that it was a job, because people would want to watch me sometimes on the stream, and I know that people care if I stream Brawlhalla. Uh, I know that that happens. I got so addicted to play the Twitch game, having more follows, having more viewership, um, having this sense of progression and accomplishment that I would get on my Twitch channel. Like that would be up until this point, that is something that I care about a lot. In some occasions, I care a lot about like if I'm getting views, if I'm not. When is the right time to stream? When is the wrong time to stream? Is it worth it? Is it worth putting my energy to play the game if I'm not going to get anything out of it? Why not saving the energy and then I stream in another time and then I would get the most out of it? I would just have fun, and I also would grow my channel. That was my mindset, and it still is my mindset. I would say, but I can't keep on doing that anymore. I just can't. There was, like I said, there was the VCS, the regional, uh, the Brazilian regional qualifiers, and I started playing, and I thought that I was not going to win. I thought that my enjoyment of the game was not really good, that really hindered my way to just improving the game and just train the best way. But also I put a lot of effort into it. I played like the last month, like 3 hours a day, like watching my replays and like really seeing what I was doing wrong and really polish the way that I play, the way that I have fun. And I did that for more than a month now. I have always tried to do that because people in Twitch, at least in the Brawlhalla community, don't want to see a gold player or a platinum player. They want to see diamond players. They want to see the best of the best. They want to see great gameplay. and I always try to improve just to give people what they wanted. Uh, I rather I rather lose like a hero and just not give the people like boredom, you know. I don't want to bore people. I want to entertain them. That's what I want to do. So I always try to figure out my playstyle in some ways regards to that. But on the VCS, I my performance was not really that bad. I would say the first two games that people watch and the first one that I also had was, I would say, like really well. It was really dynamic. It was fast paced. There were a lot of crazy things going on from time to time, even though I always play with lag on the Brazilian server. I have like 80 milliseconds of delay. I always try to be as fast as I can, to be as entertaining as I can, because for me that is like one of the most important parts, more sometimes than winning. But I also wanted to win on VCS, so I was trying to be really careful also in my approaches. I try to be really like a good strategist in the way that I was playing. I had like played hundreds of games against these players. I knew what I had to do. I can conceptualize the concept of like what I have to do and implement it in a really good way when I'm playing Brawlhalla with good connection. Like I am able to do that, but and I did that on the first two games, two set of games. Like I went up to semifinals, and I um, I fought against Kreuzberg, you know, and I started having tons of lag, like like I have never experienced before in the Brazilian server. This is the kind of lag that I would expect if I were to play like in the North American server, which I'm used to it. Uh, well, I was used to it because back then, in, like a year ago, the game was much slower than it is now, so the lag was not really that. If they didn't have too much influence in my playstyle, but now that I have shifted to like a more aggressive from back then, like having to play with 170 milliseconds of delay on my most important tournament was really devastating because I was playing good on that day. I was having a good performance. I was having like fun, you know, during the tournament up until that point. And then like I was starting to not get recognition in my controller about the things that I was doing, and I started like not having like a good sense of the movement of my opponent, because that is a big way of how I play. I need to see what my opponent is going to move. Like I have to read my opponent and I have to punish that. That is a big way of how Nash plays. That is a big way of how I play, and I couldn't do that. I just had too much lag. I was being twice as slow as I am like usually. So, and I am already slow for a fighting game. Having 80 milliseconds of delay on most of fighting games is something that a lot of people don't tolerate. But I'm get used to it. I don't complain too much about it because I don't want to be whiny. But there was a tournament. I was expecting of everything to happen. Like I was not expecting to that. It was not a problem on my side probably. My internet was fine. I checked it a lot of times. Like I was not having like problems with my internet in particular. There was probably the jumps on the server. There was a hiccup there, and there was a problem. Then I had like, I don't know if the problem went from VMG or from my internet provider. I don't know. I don't know. It doesn't matter anymore. But I realized, all right, I went to losers bracket. After that, I played against Neo Descomunal, and I lost horribly because the lag would got so much worse back in that fight, and I was completely disappointed. I thought that I put out a horrible job of like a horrible performance, and I was so ashamed out of all that. And I know, and you know, that is something that is going to stick with me. You know, probably people probably not going to think too much about it, but for me, like, it was it was really awful to just have that performance, and knowing that it was not because of me, and knowing that I lost the tournament out of there in the losers bracket, knowing that I lost the tournament because of my lag, it was really like a wake up call. I was so stressed about it because people were expecting me to win. I was so stressed about uh, winning the tournament. I wanted to improve. I haven't been having fun in Brawlhalla in like a really long time. Then I then I thought, what's the point? Why do I have to be? Why do I have to be the best? Why do I have to stream Brawlhalla? Why do I have to play Brawlhalla? Is there any point? Am I enjoying the game? And then I stop interacting with too many people on social media. I mean, I've been out of Twitter. I've been out of streaming since BCS, since the last Thursday, and I'm thinking a lot about this. What am I going to do? There were options of having. I mean, this is another subject also altogether, but I also wanted to go to the to meet the people that have supported me as the only real motivation that I have to go to win the president regional qualifiers, and I lost, so that's out of the bag. And a lot of people after that contacted me and say to me, hey man, you can still go. I mean, there are other tournaments. I mean, not for tickets for BCX, but there are other tournaments probably in the future, and you can have a sponsor, and the sponsor could like help you to go and in the to participate in the BCX, and you can also for some people help if they want if you want to just like see how much is going to cost you to go there. And I would say now, if people want to ask me uh, how much do I need to go to BCX, I would have to pretty much have like $25,000 to go. That is an amount of money that I can't get right now as a college student, as someone who doesn't work besides like being like a student. Like I don't have a part-time job. Um, I don't get any source of income out of my just the money that I get for food, my expenses, like my, my just the bills that I have to pay on the apartment and all that. I don't get more money than that. Um, and it was a wake up call. All of this. All right, there is 99% of chances that I'm not going to go to the VCX later this year. So was all the stress, was all the effort that I put on improving my gameplay was really worth it at the end? If the game is just going to just stop working like because of lag and I'm going to lose because of that in a competitive game, is it really worth it to keep trying to improve? If I'm not having fun, is it really worth it to keep playing Brawlhalla? If I'm seeing the changes of the game and the criticism that I have in the game, I have not really been like addressed in the way that I want, if I'm not getting the game that I want also, is it really worth it to play Brawlhalla? Now I would guess I will have to jump now into the criticism that I have in the game. And I have a few. I have a few of my own, and I can understand a few of other people. I, for the longest time, I mean, I usually play games for the lore, for the story, for the personality. And in Brawlhalla, there is something that is clearly lacking, something that I have criticized a lot in the past. I have said this on stream multiple occasions. I feel that there is no personality in the gameplay. I mean, yeah, sure, you have like cool designs for your legends, and you have like different skins and all that, but in gameplay, like no one really has a lot of personality besides the signatures. Everyone moves, everyone runs, everyone jumps, everyone attacks in the same way. There is no variation. All the people that have the same weapon and even the same unarmed, even though you have a caveman and you have also like a pirate, everyone just behaves in the same way. And in terms of immersion, in terms of personality in the game, like the only thing that you have that gives a sense of that is the signatures. You have around 9 weapons, I believe, somewhere around that in the game, and all of them behave in the same way. That is clearly a design choice, but you also don't have sometimes the weapon combination that you want. And if I were a developer, if everyone is just moving in the same way, if everyone is jumping in the same way, if everyone is just interacting in the same way, why do you have to have different like set of legends with different set of weapon combinations? Probably I would stick around with the idea that they had originally, that just have like a legend, like a base legend, and then customize it in the way that you want, because there's really no point in having weapon combo combinations. uh, there's really no point of it besides the signatures. That's the only thing that they have in personality, the characters. I don't really like that. For example, a lot of people, when like bow came out, they wanted the bow and spear. That we still don't have that. Probably a lot of people want spear and lance, and they don't have that. Because we have to wait for the weapon combination, even though when you get the new legend, you're most likely going to have the same set of, I mean, the whole set of light combos and the occasional 6 new like signatures. That is the only thing that they take so much time to do. The game will work so much better and so much faster if they have a tons of more weapons. Like if you have like the other weapons that people have requested, it would be much better. Like you all right, you have guns, you have spear, you have sword, you have katars, you have gauntlets, you have sacks, you have rocket lance, you have blasters, you have bow, you have all these weapons. But people have also wanted a scythe, a shield. They have wanted like a two-handed weapon, and I don't know, you can create some wacky other combinations, like maybe rocket kicks or shoes. I don't know, something like that. If you created like a rocket lance, you can pretty much create like anything if you want to put it in your game. If I were the developers, I would just go, and if I were not if I was not going to have more like personality in the gameplay, if I were not to have more of that, because everybody just from here on out probably is going to behave in the same way, is going to jump in the same way. If you have like a silhouette of black like a black silhouette of every legend right now, and you make everyone move like you would not be able to distinguish one legend from another just by the way that they move in the gameplay. So that is one of my criticisms in terms of like enjoyment in viewing the game, and a lot of people might cut up on that. Uh, it doesn't take too much to realize that there is not too many variation in the way that the legends move and behave amongst others, and the more legends that you have in Brawlhalla, the more you realize that they're just clearly pretty much the same, and at the end, and that is just because Brawlhalla wants to be a casual game. That is the most important audience, but Brawlhalla also wants to be an esport game, and that is where I have most of my complaints. Is that if you want to have an esport, I believe you don't want to have that. You can't have that. You need to have like more variation. You need to have diversity in the way that your legends and your mechanics work. And in Brawlhalla, there's just not really too much of that. You're going to see in a game a lot of times like the same people like doing the same move over and over again, and sometimes they're going to win because of that. Where is the variation in that? uh, I don't know, that is one of the criticisms that I have with the game. Is just the lack of variation. And also, if I want to start, that is from my casual standpoint, by the way, but if I want to start from the competitive side, oh boy, um, I have not been enjoying the gameplay primarily. I mean, I need to say this again. I've been playing Brawlhalla for 1600 hours, so clearly I enjoy the game at the core of it. All right. So for everyone that want to just dismiss my opinion because this might be the opinion of someone who is just starting the game. I've been playing the game probably more than everyone, like probably more than just everyone in the community. There's just a handful of people that have played the game more than me. So I'm also like a diamond player, if you don't know. I have been number one in the world in numerous occasions. Um, I have been the number one in the Brazilian server for like months and months now. Now I lost the mantle because I I don't care too much about rank anymore. But yeah, but you know, from a competitive side, the meta, at least in my region, it's not really that fun to play and to watch. You saw it on the Brazilian regional qualifiers, and that was a small taste of it. I believe we only saw Kreuzberg, but we also have like much more of that, and Brazilian regional qualifiers, just having people running away and having games for me that last more than 4 minutes. It's just so boring. I'm playing Brawlhalla because Brawlhalla is supposed to be a fighting game. And in most other fighting games, you get at most in your like round, that a round in this case would be like a stock. You would get like a 90 seconds like round, like a minute and a half. That's a good time for a round, but when one stock drags out for 3 minutes, 3 minutes just of players not really fighting each other, that is just so boring for me. I just can't enjoy that. I know people do that because they want to win, and it is the safest way of playing Brawlhalla because you have too many options in Brawlhalla to approach other players. You have only like the standard like running mechanic. You have the dodge, that is your offensive approach, and also your defensive approach. Dodge has to work in both ways, and it's just not. Fighting games usually don't work like that. They would have to separate, like, all right, you double tap and you would like do a small dash, or you would like run, faster. But no, it's not like that. Like a dodge and to approach as a as a dash mechanic, and also dodge to use as a defensive mechanism is just something that is really hurting the game, at least for me, because sometimes you just need to dodge forward to get close to your opponent to be more aggressive, and when you dodge, you lose your defensive option. So it's, I don't know. I don't like it. I don't like also the I don't have more ways to. That's the main reason I don't have too many ways to approach my opponent. They can just run away. They can circle around me. They can jump like 5 million times in the air, and I will have to wait for them to come down back into the stage because sometimes you don't have the weapon, the best weapon to fight them in the air. Like, it is not sometimes what weapons do. Like gauntlets is not the best weapon to use in the air. It is a good ledge guarding weapon, but not when people are jumping like 6 million feet above your position. So I've been not enjoying the gameplay right now. I know that today, the day that I'm recording this is Wednesday, they released like a patch in which they are putting new test features. I don't see it changing it too much. The core of the gameplay is always going to be the same. But what I want is something more drastic than just like jumping and charging your signature. That might be good, might be bad. I don't know. Um, I'll have to test this. But I I'm just not enjoying the gameplay. And if I'm not enjoying the gameplay, why am I sticking with Brawlhalla? Why am I fighting? Why am I just playing Brawlhalla? Why am I streaming Brawlhalla? I mean, for the streaming wise, I've been playing Brawlhalla because I I just enjoyed watching my view count, watching my followers like going up. Like that is something that I really enjoy. But now I'm not caring anymore, and I know that it's going to happen. But I'm not going to play Brawlhalla forever. Maybe this is a good wake up call and just a good starting point to do other stuff, to play other games. I don't get money out of Brawlhalla. There is no tournaments in the Brazilian server. So what is my incentive? I'm a good player. I'm not a sponsor. Also, so um, I don't have a sponsor behind my back saying that I have to stream the game. What is my incentive to play Brawlhalla? To stick in the community because people follow me for that? I don't know. That's a good incentive. But Uh, I mean, not good enough for me right now. I realized a couple of years ago that I just can't do stuff for people, just for the people. Uh, I need to think about myself, and I have not thought on myself in a really long time in regards to like my enjoyment and how I'm spending my free time. I I think I'm going to take a break from Brawlhalla, most likely. I'm not going to play it as much. I'm just going to play it enough so I don't get rusty. But I'm going to come back, I don't know, in a couple of months, probably when I see that something changes. Because there have been so many months now that the meta has been so stale. I don't think it's going to change with too much with the changes of the new patch. I don't think it's going to change too much in like a month. I don't know. I will have to wait and see. The last big impact, the big patch of Brawlhalla for me was when they integrated like gravity cancel. That was the big patch for me. That would change the game completely. But since then, there was like chase dodge, and that ended up not being like really that significant in regards to the gameplay. Like it was okay, but didn't really change too much the way that the gameplay worked. So I mean, I'm going to probably take a break. Now I want to speak probably um, for the esports scene, and I'm probably sorry to say this, but like Brawlhalla is like not, at least to my understanding and for what I have seen, uh, like Brawlhalla is like not getting the views that an esport should get. Um, there are 5,000 like players a day in Brawlhalla according to Steam charts. That is like a lot. That is crazy. Lots of people playing Brawlhalla. That is amazing. I don't know how much that influenced the earnings of Brawlhalla, but that must be a lot. Um, eh, if you compare that to like um, Street Fighter, like you have so much more like people playing the game daily. But if you watch anything from Street Fighter, like that game has 10 times, 20 times more better viewership than Brawlhalla from the better players. It has also been like a game that has been established in time, like people are more aware of it. If you look at the other competitors of Brawlhalla, if you look at rivals of either, they have like 200 people like playing the game a day. The viewership in Twitch is like not really that much, not really that significant. And if you go and watch Smash Bros, like they also have like crazy better numbers than Brawlhalla in terms of casual side and also competitive side. Right now, the community, the players in Brawlhalla, none of them, I believe, have received like partnership, or none of them have received also like a big boost in viewership. Like the most that I would see would be like 80 people, and for a game that wants to become an esport and wants to make people play for a living, like the audience is the most important thing. And Brawlhalla is just not getting the audience, the viewership that it should get. Like the VCS on YouTube does like 3K, the last ones. And that is something that I could do if I do like a guide or something for the game. If I do like defensive, the YouTuber has like twice, 3 times, sometimes 10 times more viewership than the VCS, um, which is doesn't really bow well when you have like a big tournament coming up in like 3 months. I have participated on the VCS. I have been one of the analysts, and I mean there's something that needs to change right now because the previous ones they have been not with crazy amount of viewership. I don't know. Am I the only one who thinks that 300 views or 400 views for a tournament for a game that is officially sponsored uh, from BMG? That people that for a tournament that people are gaining thousands of dollars, like having 4,000 for like 100 views is really not that much. If you want to have an esport, if you want to have like people like making a living out of that, like if they were to stream the game, you would have to get like half of the views of just the tournament. Like people need to have like hundreds of people watching them to be able to have sometimes the partnership and then to make a living out of this. But just from tournaments, having to be the very best on every tournament, like that is not going to support the players. And I know that people are going to say that Brawlhalla is still in beta, uh, but I would say that Brawlhalla is already out. Brawlhalla is already open for. I mean, the reason why a lot of the developers have the beta or early access or alpha is because sometimes you don't you like dodge the bullet of the criticism because oh well, is but this game is just in alpha. or it is in beta. So it is okay. It's going to get improved, but the developers already are making money out of this. They're already like uh, sponsoring the game officially from a competitive side. So the game is already out. The game is not going to change that much in the future. All right, I had to cut the recording there because I had to do something. But yeah, I believe that Brawlhalla is not getting the viewership. I have not seen that streamers, big players, like big winners of tournaments, have been getting too much viewership in Brawlhalla to justify like and the viewership is the most to justify just being like a full-time Brawlhalla player, like the like professional player, quote unquote. uh, it is not really being that successful in that regard, Brawlhalla. Even though you have almost 3 million accounts uh, in Brawlhalla, being a game that has 5,000 players every day, like people are just not interested in the competitive side of Brawlhalla. Sadly, I mean that's really small of a number. Like the VCS that I participated, they have been like not so consistent on the viewership. Uh, 200 views was on the CEA regional qualifiers. 400 to 500 views were on the EU tournament, 1v1 tournament, and just 300 on the Brazilian regional qualifiers. And probably before that, there were the numbers really similar to that. If you want to have an esport, you need to make the game enjoyable to watch. I have seen the criticism before, but Brawlhalla is not enjoyable to watch when you have someone who is just running away from the opponent, who is just like wasting like time. I mean, who is just not fighting. People get affected to that. People respond to that when they are on when they're playing, when they're watching. They say that on chat. It happens to me when I stream. People say, "Oh man, this is really not fun to watch. This is boring," and they put the Resident Sleeper. That is a fair criticism. Brawlhalla is not fun to watch at a competitive level sometimes, and there is not crazy effects going on like being a game that could really Brawlhalla is really a game that could benefit from more effects going on in the background. And I know that the reason that they don't do that because they want to make the game accessible for everyone, and they want to make uh, more people play it. But you have to make a compromise in some point. You can't have a casual game, a simple game like Brawlhalla, and also be in a competitive game. You need to compromise in some point. And there has been so many times in which I tell people in real life that play games, hey, I'm playing like Brawlhalla, and they're just see the gameplay for beforehand, and they are not really interested because of the visuals. There is not a lot of stuff going on in the background. They just see the same characters moving and doing the same moves over and over again. There's no crazy combos. There is no like there's no diversity too much in Brawlhalla. And if you want to have an esport, you need to make a game that is enjoyable to watch. And right now, Brawlhalla is not that. Sadly, I'm sad to say I've been in the community for a long time, but it is not enjoyable to watch to the broader audience. It's just for the fans. Like for a game that has 3 million accounts, that 3 million people have already played Brawlhalla at some point, and there are just 200 people watching tournaments, or seeing that 100 people must be just the people competing in the tournament itself. It is just so little. It is not too much. It is bare bones for an esport. And it's sad because I see that they're investing a lot of money into that, and I'm just not seeing the progress. I'm just not seeing the big improvement in the Brawlhalla community. When I have like when I see Twitch and I see all-time players like that have been sticking around the community for years now, and they only get like 30 viewers, and they are top players, no down players, and people are not interested in watching them. I don't know if this is because of their personality. I don't know if it is because of the character that they're using or the way that they play. I don't know. Either way, like people are not interested in that kind of like viewership and that kind of um, gameplay. I don't know. I don't know. Another big thing is that there's not a lot of people that have already built a built-up community that play Brawlhalla. The Brawlhalla at most in the last week, I believe they get like 50,000 views, and that is probably most by defensive who builds like content like consistently, and it is crazy good content. It is more funny content than competitive content, and I'm I don't see any crazy big YouTube channels or crazy other big fighting game players that have picked up the game and they see, oh, this game is taking off as a competitive game. I'm going to try it out. That hasn't happened. The other big like streamer that stuck around by the community in some point was uh, Jim Bendotto, and he streamed the game a lot of times, but as someone who runs a business, like Jim, who makes a living out of streaming, out of making YouTube videos, even though he enjoyed the game a lot and he played it a lot and he has participated in tournaments in a lot of occasions, but he, as a business, he can't really switch to Brawlhalla even if he wants to, because his audience is not really interested in like watching Brawlhalla. A lot of other YouTubers have been in the same, probably are in the same position. I have been around the streams of like the friends of Northern Lion, and I have asked, "Hey, do you like Brawlhalla?" And some of them say, I'm not really that big of a fan of Brawlhalla. I don't like it too much." They say, and I mean that's it. Not a lot of people are playing Brawlhalla, sadly. Brawlhalla wants to be a competitive game. They need to have three things, I believe. And this is something that the developers of Smite High-Res said in one of their um, presentations, I believe, back a year ago. And they said that if you want to have an esport, you need to have three things. First, you need to have balance in your game. Right now, I believe you can debate. I mean, this is not a video for that, but I believe that there is no balance in Brawlhalla right now as the point that you want it to be as an esport. Some esports never have balance. Sometimes they take years to have balance, but it is something that you should always strive as a developer, as community. You should always go for balance stuff, and that's something that, I mean, you can debate whether or not Brawlhalla has that, but it needs to happen. There needs to be balance, whether or not like there is or there is not. Like there needs to be balance in Brawlhalla. That's one of the main points. The other point, you need to have like a high skill curve in Brawlhalla. You can't have someone who is just doing one move and just running away and then just winning tournaments and people get bored because of it. People don't think that it's too skillful, and I would agree. Um, but you you should there should be like an easy way of telling if you are good in the game and if you are bad in the game. In Brawlhalla, you sometimes don't get to see that too easily as a casual player, as a casual viewer. You don't get to see the complexity behind everything, and because there is just not too much like complexity visually to indicate you that one is better than another. Sometimes the crazy good player just look like a spammer. That is something that you need to differentiate, having a high skill curve. And the next thing that you need to have is diversity and variety. You can't, like I said in my previous point, you can't have like someone doing the same thing over and over again. People don't want to see the same thing happen in every game, like having the black holes, uh, people don't want to see that. It becomes like predictable and boring for viewership. um, you need to have diversity, you need to have variation, and in the gameplay it needs to happen. Why would people would want to come back to see tournaments if they're going to see just the same tactics over and over again? It's something that needs to be changed. As of me, like these really are my criticisms of Brawlhalla. There lacks personality, there lacks effects, there lacks visually improvement in the background, animations, more diversity in gameplay, maybe more weapons, or maybe some other like fighting styles that you could get with your weapons and on arm moves, but that is just not going to happen if I would have to guess. And that is something that would take so much time, so much work, and and I don't know what is the focus of Hala right now. Obviously they need to please the casual audience that is the biggest audience in Brawlhalla, but they also want to build up an esport, and I see that the esport side of Brawlhalla is really not catching on in the way that I would want to. I had to cut the video right there. I'm sorry. At the end, I had too many quotes on this little podcast at this point. Um, so yeah, Brawlhalla, I'm being a little bit disappointed in not seeing the game taking off as a viewer. Game on Twitch, on YouTube, it is really lacking on that aspect, and the, there needs to be like a little bit more improvement in the game if I were to come back as a full time like streamer like I used to do now. Probably for me, in regards to my future, I am not going to keep streaming as much as I did the past Brawlhalla. Probably I'm just not going to dedicate it so much time. I'm going to try out other games. I've been missing out in so many other stuff. I'm being not really that generous to myself as a gamer. Just be playing like one game, not having energy for any other. Like I'm going to switch to another game probably. I don't know. It's going to be really difficult for me because I don't have like too much. If I'm totally real, I don't have too much of a loyal like viewer base that would not care if I switch to another game. That is usually not what happens when you're a streamer or when you create content with like in your confines of like YouTube or Twitch. Like people started following me because they wanted to see a gameplay of me playing Natch in Brawlhalla or me playing any Diamond Legend in Brawlhalla. And they follow me because of that. They also follow me on YouTube because of that, because they want to see me playing Brawlhalla, and that is something that I will have to work against. I will have to work my way out of it because people recognize me. I am the one Brawlhalla player, and people when I stream other games, it happens every time I lose like probably like 80 to 90% of my viewership. They all go away because they want to see me playing Brawlhalla, and it is basically like a start from zero, And on YouTube, the same thing. People are going to come to my stream sometimes on YouTube videos, and they're going to ask me, "Hey, are you not playing Brawlhalla anymore?" And I'm just going to have to link to this video, I guess. Or I will have to just say the answer. No, I'm just taking a break. I probably will come back at some point when I see that there is much better improvement in the game, the areas that I want. If not, like, it was like a good ride. I had a lot of fun. I met a lot of great people, but I mean, yeah, this is probably like another step for me. I'm not going to go entirely away. I'm just going to be hiding in the shadows to see how the scene develops, to see if it is like worth it to come back and start playing the game again, if I'm going to start having fun again, if I'm going to get something out of it. Um, but yeah, I don't have really any big incentive right now. I'm just not having fun. I don't get any money out of this. There is no tournaments. I don't feel that I need to go like play the game consistently now that the tournament of the VCS has finished, and I don't know what is going to be my future out of all this as a probably streamer entertainer. It would be a shame to have like 2,000 followers in Twitch and um, not keep building up on that. But I guess I will have to wait and see what I want to play, what I'm going to enjoy. I'm not really someone that can play like a tons of different games because I don't have the money to buy them. But I can pick some other stuff and I can get like more enjoyment out of that, out of the variety that I would get. So yeah, I'm going to take a break. I am going to be also watching, interacting with other people in other chats. Probably I'm going to still stick around for the BCS. I don't know at this point, but yeah, thank you if you stuck here by the end. That really means a lot to me. If you have something to say it in the comments. I will be reading them. I'm curious about what people have to say. I'm curious about what other players have to say. Probably this is going to be really controversial, and I mean, yeah, one of the all-time streamers, one of the favorites in the community, according to the people, is going to be leaving the community because he's not having fun. It's interesting. I don't know what is going to come out of this. So yeah. Thank you so much for watching, and I will see you again next time.